Hi guys, just a little update on R2. I've had some more bits and pieces arrive today, so I'll just show you the changes. Starting inside the chassis or the frame, the battery holder is now got some batteries to hold. So this is the design of battery holder that came with the Jag version 5 design. And it fits perfectly 3 7Ah 12 volt lead acid batteries, and the idea is I'm going to have one up the end here for 12 volts, and then the other two I'm going to wire up in series, which will give me the 24 volt for the dome motor. So I'll have basically two power supplies, and then obviously I can use a little regulator or something like where is it? That one there, to drop it down further if I need to. The other thing that came is a package with some of the some more metalwork. So we've got these lovely looking hydraulics in there now. So we've got the under shoulder details just in here. Those bits are now in place, and they're actually called the ankle bracelets, which are those aluminium pieces that go around the whole leg. You may remember before I had some that I'd made from styrene, so they're joined to the hydraulics there, and that's now done on both legs. What I'll do later on is I'll strip those back down and I'll show you how they fit together, in case anyone is tempted to try and do one of these out of alley and hasn't yet. There's a lot of builders out there a lot more experienced than me, but you know, if there's anyone I can help along the way, then that's great. So I'll do that. I'll take those apart later on in the video and just show you how it all goes back together. So that's it, just a little bit on R2 at the moment. I'm going to come up with a neater wiring loom for that shortly, and I think an inline fuse might be called for as well, in case I have any little accidents and mishaps. So I think that's the other thing you may not have seen. Forgive me if you have, because sometimes I do these videos over so many days I can't remember what I've showed you and what I haven't. This is the first of the steel feet that's arrived, and what I did was took the styrene ankle that I made earlier in the year off of the styrene foot that I made earlier in the year, which I've still got, and I'm going to make use of that. In fact, I'll show you, excuse the rubbish pile in the corner here, but that's the styrene foot that I made. But it just goes to show again that the plans for the styrene versions are pretty good and pretty close to the steel ones, or the metal ones. The only difference being on this one, you see whether you've got the 5 little indentations. They're right at the bottom of the foot, yet with the feet that are in the club plans, you've got this extra bit. This is the CSR version, I think. This is where you've got a little bit of an extra bit at the foot there. And interestingly, the metal version, I'm not sure if that's CSR or Legacy actually. There's there's two different types, but this definitely has this extra bit at the bottom that the styrene plans didn't, as you can see there. So. But other than that, they're very, very, very close, and I think this is how they should be now. That's what I'm going with anyway. So, but there we go. So yeah, just a few little updates. Over the coming days, I'm going to try and mount some speakers up in here behind this plate, and I should have an aluminium version of that coming, which is the charging bay, which will go in there roughly. All this bit at the bottom has to be removed, but it's just the top bit really, and then this one obviously, if I'm going to use that, which I think I might, because it'll be another little door to open with some flashy lights, flashy blinking lights and things. And that's going to go in something like that. Sorry, been a bit ham-fisted at the moment, but there you go. Although it'll be up at the top. Doesn't fit quite at the moment because the back plate for the speaker needs to drop back. But I need a bit of a standoff there, need some little spaces there. So yeah, so a little bit of an update, and more to come. Hi guys, little update for R2. It's Sunday the 11th September 2016. This is a 3D printed data panel for R2. It goes on just on the left hand side of the vents in the centre. Thanks to Sam in the builders group who put me onto these files, because I hadn't seen these before. It's very good. So what I'm doing, I'm just starting to prepare them. There's a little bit of a seam or a little bit of a gap down there where the 3D printer didn't quite, let's see if I can really zoom in and show you. Yeah, didn't quite join just on either side there. Same thing on this side. So I'm just filling that at the moment. And then I think I'm going to drill this out. This looks like it's supposed to be some sort of microphone or some sort of vent, maybe a sensor of some description. So the holes are marked but not through, so I think I'm just going to get a small drill and just drill those through. I could always cut it out and put a real mesh or something in there, but I'm just going to experiment. I'll see what happens if I drill it through first. Just drill all the little holes. I can always remove the whole thing later. And then I've got lots of little bits and pieces, little holes and things, so I can put some little flashy LEDs behind. I've seen one of these which was very well done, where a guy's put USB ports in here and here, and these are it wouldn't be SD, that'd be too small, so these would be CF card, you know, the compact flash card memory cards, the first ones we got in cameras before they got smaller. So it might be quite interesting, because you can have a little, you know, sound playing device, music playing device or something with maybe some little slots, and it would be really cool if you could actually put them in there for real and they do something. So I'll have a look at that. A lot of them I see out there, they're basically just LEDs behind. Now I've never actually seen this in the film. In Empire Strikes Back you see the charging bay, but I've never actually seen the data panel. So I'm not quite sure what it's supposed to look like, but or even if it's official or just somebody's idea. But it's quite a nice idea to have a little door opening up and show some bits and pieces inside whirring around. So anyway, so that's it. I'll show you a little bit further how it's going to go. But basically the plan at the moment, drill that out. I'll have some, I think these LEDs should be white, and then these they'll be yellow up here, green. I think a lot of guys have seen these have got blue, and then maybe some blue and red, little blue LEDs in the circles, and maybe some red LEDs in the slots. So yeah, so we'll see how we go. I'm just going to check this camera out actually, because it looks a little bit blurry to me. I don't know if I've got some mist or something on the lens. I'll be back shortly. Hi guys, this is an update for R2. I'm looking at a new sound system, trying to get my head around it. It's a wee bit complicated, but I think I'm finally getting there. You may remember before I've had a sound card in him, which is this little chap here, and it was just hooked up to a little Bluetooth speaker to give it some bass. It's very good, but it's really intended for models. Hasn't really got a lot of power for a big, you know, full-size thing like this. But the card is really, really good. I've used them in things like these models before to give them some sound effects. But what I've just the only problem with it is basically it's one trigger, one press. So you press a button, it plays the next sound. You press it again, it plays the next sound. So you have to sort of cycle through them all. What would be nice is if you could basically have someone go up to R2 and say, "Hi, how are you? Are you good today?" And he'll have a happy sound, or you can play a sad sound, or you can play some music on demand rather than having to scroll through. So that's what this does. This is the ACS CF Sound 4. I've done a lot of research on and reading on the website astromech.net, and it looks like a lot of the guys use these. It actually tells you about the CF3. This is CF4, so it's presumably just the later version. So what you have is I've got a 32 gig sound card in here, SD card in here, which I should be able to put quite a bit of music on, and lots of R2 beeps. And this little thing on top is a 12 channel remote relay, which is hooked up to this thing. Now inside the card here, basically this is the CF sound. That's the 3, but the 4 is very, very similar. And these green modules here, that's a 24 channel trigger module I've put in there as well. So I bought the unit with the additional remote triggers. So basically one wire, so the red and the orange there, they're going into two of the pins there, and I can have one in each of those all the way across. So I can have 24, actually 26, because there's two on board as well. And the idea is that each one of those relays is wired through to trigger one of these input channels on here. So at the moment I'm just sort of experimenting, and I've just hooked up two inputs, so I can only get two sounds at the moment. The other thing is you have to name the files right. It's a hexadecimal file naming system, which again I'm getting my head around. But if I press 7, I get that. If I press 8, I get that. So, and then each of these can be something different. So I could have all the happy sounds, 1 to 5, and then the more sad sounds and the the no sounding, the negative sounds he makes, sort of 5 to 10, and they could have some music tracks and things. So if I press one of the others, nothing happens because I've got nothing. Oh, sorry, that's 8. If I press 12, for example, nothing happens, or 11 because I've got nothing. I haven't got those wired in yet. The tricky bit is if you're doing this, you have to connect up all the commons. So I've got 12 commons to link together and to come back to the first pins on these. But once I get my head around it and once I get it done, I think it's going to be rather good, because I can just say, R2, say the short thing. Okay, say the long thing. So and if I have a few more on there, so I have all sorts of different sounds, different bits of music, some funny stuff, whatever, Cantina Band. So there we go. So that's the plan. It's not quite as daunting as it looks, but it is a little bit. First time I've tried this. These are just car speakers basically. I've got some others. These are the ones I'm just playing around with. I've actually mounted, since the last time I saw you, what's happened? Oh yes, I got the new grills in, which is looking really neat, beautiful aluminium grill in the front, and I've mounted two car speakers behind them. I don't know if you can see there, something like that. So what I'll do is I'll mount the soundboard up on the back electronics mounting plate there, and that should be okay. Now, the only other thing I've been working on is this. It's just a 3D printed data panel, and I've put some flashing LEDs and some the blue ones are flashing, and the bottom ones they're RGB, so they actually cycle through all the different colours, red, green and blue, but then they change speed as well, so they'll change slowly or they'll change quickly depending on where they are in the sequence. So it's supposed to look like hard disk data lights flashing away, lots of activity, that sort of thing. So I thought that looked quite good. So when he opens the door, you'll see something going on inside. I've got an aluminium charge bay coming that's going to sit in here as well. So and you probably noticed the lights have gone out of the head. I've got some proper lights coming. I've taken these out for now. They still work, but I've taken these out for now. I might take the LEDs out and use them for something else, because I just decided, like I did with the aluminium frame, I just wanted to make a really good job of it if I could. So there we are. So a little bit of an update. I'm quite excited because I've got that CF card working, that audio thing working. So what I'll do now is I'm going to go and wire up. I'm going to do some wiring to join all those commons together. And there's an adjustable volume. The only thing I'm not too happy with is this relay board is, I think it's about 20 quid off of eBay, and I've got another one coming as well, so that'll give me 24. The only problem with it, and if anyone's out there has done this already and has a solution that's better, let me know. When you play the sound, you hear the relay click first. And they're quite loud clicks, so when all the skins are on and he's all built in and enclosed, it may not be a problem, you may not be able to hear it at all, but it would be nice if there was a more silent way of doing it. Those clicks are just a bit just a bit loud. So if anyone's got any knows of something like this, a little fairly easy to wire up remote relay board that doesn't click so loudly, that would be awesome. Anyway, I'll show you a bit more later on when I've got all these commons linked up, and then I can wire up the rest of the inputs. I've put 12 sounds on the card for now, and basically there are some instructions you can download, but basically the code I've found out is you put the sound, so the first sound, if you on this one for example I've got channel 7, so that file is called I think it's 07 and then open bracket C, close bracket, and the C stands for normally closed on the relay. So when the relay is closed, that's when it fires, because you can have it working the other way, so you can do it when the relay opens instead. All a bit complicated. I'm going to go and have a cup of tea and do some soldering. I'll see you later. Okay guys, few headaches later, but I think I'm getting somewhere. I've got 12 relays hooked up. 3 aren't working for some reason. I don't know if that's a problem with the sound file or not. There is an error code on the flashing lights part, so I'll look that up. But one thing I have noticed is that the switch 1 here is actually relay 7 there. So I'm just changing it all. But I'm experimenting with some audio files. I've got some music and some R2-D2 beeps. So at the moment, for one, I've got and then 2. Right, that's not a very good sound because there's a lot of hissing in it. I need to clean that one up. So I want to change these around so all the music is together. That's number 3. 4 doesn't do anything yet. 5 doesn't do anything yet. And 6 doesn't do anything yet, so there's a problem with those. 7 is the scream. 8, okay, the Cantina band. And just for a giggle, number 9. I've seen a lot of the R2-D2 do this. They spring into a John Travolta thing when they do a little dance. I thought that might be quite good fun. It's a bit quieter, that one. It's 10, 11.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Okay, and 12 is Princess Leia's message. Okay, so I'm going to try and get all these together. So I've got the first one, 1. Okay. Right, so I'm going to see if I can move. I'm going to try and swap 8 and 2 over. Hey all, just a quick update on the R2 build. I've been working over the last little while just on some bits and pieces. I've got a couple of new bits. There's the front grille there, which is a all aluminium, very nice shiny new addition. The lights are just the data port that I'm experimenting with, using all sorts of flashing lights and RGBs, so they cycle through different colours and things like that. But the real thing that's the real difference I've made is basically I've put some speakers behind that front grille, as you can see there, basically out of a car. And what I've done is I've moved some of the electronics around, brought the speed controllers, the speed controller for the dome and the receiver inside to make room for some new equipment on the outside of that printed circuit board. This electronics mounting board I've got, and I've bought well, I've got this. This is what I've been working on this afternoon. So we've got an ACS CF audio system, digital audio system, and on top of that, with all the wires, is a 12-channel remote relay, and they're all linked into the speakers. And what I can do now, before I just had a tiny little sound card which was very good, but it was really out of models, scale models, so it wasn't very big, wasn't very powerful, and you could only put 300 seconds of sounds on there at best. So I've decided to relegate that for models, which is really what it was designed for. And this system here will allow me now to, instead of with the other one you just press the button on the remote and you got one sound, and then it would toggle to the next sound and the next sound and the next sound, and that's it. You couldn't play them in a particular order, you just had to cycle through the way they are. So what this allows me to do is I've got a separate little remote which I can stick on the side of the main remote, and that's what I have. And basically each button links through this to a unique sound. So what I have now is I can still play the speech files, except for the sound's a bit better now because the sound actually comes out of that grill at the front. Oop, the head's creeping around because I haven't got the other transmitter on at the moment. But the other thing I can do with this, because the sound's a bit better quality, and because I've got a 4 gig SD card on there, but it'll take anything up to 32 gig, so I could put music on, so we can not only do the usual speech stuff, but I can put music tracks on there, which technically is stereo, apart from the fact that the speakers are one above the other instead of beside each other, but I could always perhaps move them later. So button 1 gives you the Star Wars theme, button 2 the Cantina Band, and then the rest of them are all mapped to different speech. So the Scream is number 7, I think. Number 9 is an alarm, and so on. So so that's basically it. Now I've got another one of these remote control cards coming, another 12 channels, so that'll give me 24 selectable sounds. The only thing is they're a little bit noisy. You can hear the relays. If I play this one, you can hear a tick beforehand, which I'm not so keen on. So I don't know if anyone knows anything like this 12 channel, 24 channel remote relays that don't make quite such a noise. It would be really cool, but anyway, for now that's quite a big improvement, so I'm quite happy with that. Okay, just one last little update before I finish off this video. Made a few more changes, and there's another piece arrived yesterday, which is the little charge bay piece in here. So this can have lots of red lights, and the idea is there's a lot of the guys put like a cigarette lighter from a car in there, which obviously you could use to, I don't know, charge a mobile phone from him or something. Although what would be more interesting in, what I would be more interested in is, well, there's the post, is to be able to charge the big batteries down there from it, so to use that as an input rather than an output. So, but I would imagine that needs a special charging circuit, so I'll need to talk to somebody about some electronics on that. That's not really, my electronics isn't really up as good as I'd like it to be at the moment, but I am learning. So anyway, so what I've done since the last little clip, I've moved the relay board inside, because the relay board and the sound card were sticking out too far. It would have been a problem on the rear door when it finally arrives, or the rear skins. So what I've done is I've mounted the audio there, and I've just redone the wiring with a longer loom that goes onto the inside, so I've got room there. And I've also mounted it the other way up, so I can see all the input numbers and all the ports, and more importantly, learn how to use the hexadecimal number system, which is a 16. It's base 16. And that's why those 3 buttons didn't work, by the way. Is 10, 11 and 12 are actually, let me get this right, 0A, 0B and 0C. It does actually tell you in here somewhere, so yeah, input, it's upside down, but so input 10 is 0A. So yeah, with base 16, you basically get to, well, you have to allow for the other sets of numbers, so you run out of numbers at 9, so then you have to go 0A, 0B, 0C until you get to 16, and then you go round again. So it takes a little bit of getting your head around, but yeah, hexadecimal number system, or base 16. But now I understand it, it's not too bad. So so there. The other thing I may not have shown you, I don't think, in the past, I've changed the buttons. Buttons are a bit neater than they were. I put some bigger main switches in, which are actually rated for 12 and 24 volts. I had some 12 volt ones in before, and I blew the bulb in one of them because it was on the 24 volt circuit. And I've also put a much needed fuse box on, so I'm inevitably going to make some mistakes, so this will protect things. I'll just put some there's big fuses up here. The drive motors, for example, they're going to want like 20-30 amp fuses, maybe more actually. I think the drive motors can actually burst to about 50, so they may have to go up even more. But I'm just starting with little 5 amp at the moment, might get smaller just in case. So that's what we've now got. So we've got the 3 batteries, one's providing 12 volts, the other's providing 2 are in series providing 24. They both go through their own separate switch and their own separate fuse, and then go back round to wherever else they've got to go to. The speakers I've also changed. I've now got them on a little standoff. Don't know if you can see. How can I show you? Yeah, from above probably. Yeah, so there's a bit of a gap now between the speakers and that front vent, which helps the sound a bit more. I still may cut some of that speaker vent plate away to make more room for the speakers. How can I show you? He's getting kind of busy now, isn't he? It's getting hard to show you things. Yeah, just in here, down in there's actually 2 holes for the sounds to come out, but it would be nice if I opened them up a bit more, I think, and let some more sound out of those speakers. So, oh, the head's wandering off again. One issue I seem to have, I'll mention this for any of the other R2 builders out there, is I've got a Spectrum DX9 transmitter. I'm using a Siren 10 speed controller for that dome. When you first turn it on, it's fine. After a few seconds it starts creeping around and I have to trim it in. So to stop it, I'm going to have to probably start trimming up that way. Yeah, that stopped it. If I take the trimming back off, it starts creeping again. So I need about, how many is that? That's on 10 at the moment. So that's really, for some reason, every time you turn it on, it doesn't center. It's got to be trimmed, and I don't know why it needs trimming so much. It's always the same direction. So if anyone knows why, either from the RC world or from the droid building world, that'd be great. I'm just using a Siren 10 speed controller down there. Where is it? There, up there. Hang on. That's the receiver. Can't get in there anymore. Here we go. That's the speed controller I'm using, the Siren 10, flashing away with the blue there. It's a fairly standard one that they tend to use. The receiver is up here now, next to it. So yeah, so I don't know why that keeps drifting. It's a little bit annoying, so I can't solve it. Maybe I need to have to change the mode of the speed controller or something. I don't know. Again, if anyone knows the answer to that one, just pop it in the comments if you've got any tips. That'd be really appreciated. But anyway, so there we go. So he's coming on. It's getting heavy. It's getting very heavy. But I'm going to call that a day for this video now, because it's going to be about half an hour long. So I'll catch up with you next time, where hopefully I should have some more channels in, some more RC channels here, and hopefully neatening it up a little bit more. I'll put some more LEDs in the data port, and I'll start mounting some LEDs and some lights and things in the charging port. I've got some aluminium bits coming. I'm on the waiting list for a few things, but it's going to be a while now, so which is probably good, because I'm it's not easy paying for all this stuff, let's just say. It's a very expensive hobby I've gone and got myself into. Not for the first time. If there's anyone who knows me will know. But there we go. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope this is of some help or inspiration to anyone else who's wanting to do something similar. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.